Hey everyone, ready to become better partners? We're going deep on this one, diving into all those things that make relationships stronger.
Whether it's romantic relationships
Yeah, exactly.
or even friendships, family.
Yeah, just stronger bonds overall.
Absolutely.
And you know what's cool about all this?
What's that?
What's so fascinating is how these sources we've been digging through,
Yeah.
they all kind of point back to the basics.
Right.
It's not about these
Right.
big grand gestures.
Yeah, no magic formula.
Yeah, exactly. No magic formula.
It's the simple things, the everyday things.
And the foundation, right?
Exactly. It's about laying that foundation.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to really unpack today.
Exactly.
So where do we even begin?
Well, it all starts with communication.
Okay, communication, huge EE topic. We hear it all the time, but why is it so essential?
Well, think of it like this. If communication breaks down in a relationship,
Yeah.
it's like the plumbing in a house getting clogged. Things just back up, you know? Nothing flows smoothly.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's the same with relationship.
Right. So it's not just about talking. It's about effective communication.
Exactly. It's about expressing your needs clearly
Yeah.
and listening actively.
And really understand.
And understand, yes, because if you're not doing that,
Yeah.
you're just going to end up with resentment and conflict.
Right. And that's what we want to avoid.
Exactly.
Now, one source even went so far as to suggest
Okay.
like having a weekly relationship meeting.
Interesting. I've heard of that.
I know.
It can be really helpful.
I know it sounds kind of formal, like what we're going to have a business meeting about our relationship,
Right.
but it's more like a check-in, you know?
Exactly. It's like a proactive approach
Yeah, exactly. Being proactive.
to make sure you're both on the same page.
Yeah, rather than waiting for problems to explode.
Right. Absolutely. It's like steering a ship, you know?
Yeah.
You make those small adjustments.
Yeah.
You stay on course.
Exactly. And you don't end up crashing on the rocks.
Precisely.
Okay, so communication is key. We've established that. But what about trust?
Trust. Oh, that's huge.
It's like the other half of that foundation, right?
Absolutely. It's the bedrock of any healthy relationship.
And what did these sources say about building trust?
Well, they highlighted honesty, of course.
Right.
Reliability,
Yeah.
respecting boundaries.
Feeling safe with each other.
Yes, it's about creating that safe space where you can be vulnerable.
Totally. And one source made this really interesting point about how trust is built.
Oh, what's that?
It's not just about,
Yeah.
big displays of loyalty or grand gestures.
Right.
It's about consistency in the small things.
Oh, that's so true. It's those little everyday actions that add up over time.
Exactly. Like if you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Exactly. It shows you're reliable. You keep your word.
Yeah, even if it's something small, like picking up milk on the way home.
It all matters. It builds that sense of security and dependability.
Yeah, it shows you can count on your partner,
Exactly.
which ultimately strengthens that bond of trust.
Absolutely. It's the foundation for a healthy, lasting relationship.
Okay, so we've got communication, we've got trust, and we also talked about this idea of vulnerability.
Right. Vulnerability is so important.
Because it's not always easy to express our needs and desires.
It can be scary to let your guard down.
Yeah, but it's so crucial for a deeper connection.
Absolutely. It's about creating that safe space
Yeah.
where you can be your authentic self.
And one source talked about these things called emotional bids.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
It's like these little attempts to connect with your partner throughout the day,
Oh,
like sharing a funny meme or asking about their day.
it's those little moments that really matter.
And it's not just about making the bid.
Right.
It's about how you respond to your partner's bids.
Absolutely. You have to acknowledge them, show you care.
Exactly. Even if it's just a smile or a few words.
Even a simple, how was your day, can make a difference.
Yeah, it's like making deposits into that relationship bank account.
Right, exactly.
Good.
Those little deposits add up.
So we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have. But we're just getting started.
Exactly. There's so much more to explore when it comes to becoming better partners.
There is, and I can't wait to dive into it.
Me too. So stay tuned for part 2, where we'll talk about expressing love and appreciation.
That's right. We're going to get into the love languages and all that good stuff.
So stick around. We'll be right back.
All right. So last time we were talking about all those foundational elements.
Communication, trust, vulnerability.
Exactly. That's the groundwork, right? But what about when things get a little rocky?
Yeah, because let's be real. No relationship is perfect.
Exactly. And I was really struck by how many of these sources emphasized personal growth.
Okay, so how does focusing on me actually help us?
Well, think about it. If you're not taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
feeling drained or stuck,
Hmm.
you're not going to be able to show up as your best self in the relationship.
Right, you're kind of running on empty.
Exactly. And that can lead to resentment and conflict.
So it's not selfish to prioritize your own growth?
Not at all. It's actually essential.
Okay, I like that.
Because when you invest in yourself,
Yeah.
you bring more to the relationship, more energy, more positivity.
It's like filling up your own cup so you have something to pour from.
Exactly. And it also prevents you from becoming too dependent on your partner.
Right, for your happiness and fulfillment.
Exactly. You're showing up as a whole person with your own passions and interests.
And that makes the relationship more interesting, right?
Absolutely. It keeps things fresh and exciting.
So it's a win-win. You both grow individually, which strengthens the bond between you.
Exactly. Now, what about those times when conflict does arise?
Oof. Yeah, disagreements, arguments, they're bound to happen.
They are, but it's all about how you handle them.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know, right? But one thing that came up a lot in the sources was this idea of fighting fair.
Okay, fighting fair. I like that. What does that look like?
Well, it's about setting some ground rules for disagreements.
Okay, like what?
No name calling, no bringing up past grievances.
So staying focused on the issue at hand.
Exactly, and trying to understand each other's perspective.
Right, instead of just trying to prove your point.
Exactly. It's about expressing your feelings without blaming or accusing.
So using I statements instead of you statements.
Exactly. Like, I feel hurt when this happens, instead of you always do this.
Right, it takes the focus off of attacking each other.
And makes it more about understanding each other's experiences.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And one source even suggested taking breaks during disagreements.
Oh, like a timeout.
Exactly. If things are getting too heated,
Yeah,
it's okay to step away and cool down before continuing the conversation.
that's a good reminder because I know I've definitely said things I regretted in the heat of the moment.
Me too. We all have. It's about recognizing when you're reaching your boiling point
Yeah.
and taking a step back to prevent things from escalating.
It's like saying, hey, we can come back to this when we're both calmer.
Exactly. And it shows that you're committed to resolving the issue in a healthy way.
Okay, so we've covered communication, trust, personal growth, navigating disagreements. What about forgiveness?
Forgiveness. That's a big one.
It can be really tough, especially when someone has hurt you deeply.
It can be, but it's so important for healing and moving forward.
But how do you actually forgive someone when it feels impossible?
Well, one thing the sources emphasized is that forgiveness is a process.
Okay, it's not just a one-time thing.
Exactly. It takes time and effort.
And a willingness to let go of that anger and resentment.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that forgiveness is ultimately for you.
What do you mean by that?
Holding on to anger and resentment only hurts you in the long run.
Oh, I see. So it's not about condoning the other person's actions?
Right. It's about freeing yourself from that negativity.
One source put it this way. Forgiveness is like releasing a toxic substance from your system.
I love that analogy because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick.
Right. It's self-destructive.
Exactly. And forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation.
Okay, so you can forgive someone even if you choose to move on from the relationship.
Absolutely. It's about taking back your power and choosing to heal.
Wow, we've covered a lot of heavy stuff today.
We have, but it's important stuff.
It is, and it's empowering to know that we have the tools to build stronger, healthier relationships.
Exactly. And remember, there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right, every relationship is different,
So it's about finding what works for you and your partner.
and being willing to put in the effort.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about the tough stuff, laying the groundwork, working through conflict.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty of relationships.
But you know, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
we all want that spark, that joy.
absolutely. That's what keeps things fun.
Exactly. So how do we keep that alive, especially in long-term relationships?
Well, the sources all pointed to one key thing: intentionality.
Okay, so we can't just expect it to happen on its own.
Exactly. You have to actively nurture that connection.
So what are some practical ways to do that?
Well, one source suggested creating a couple's bucket list.
Oh, I love that idea. Write down all the things you want to do together.
Big or small, doesn't matter.
It could be anything from trying a new restaurant to taking a trip to learning a new skill together.
Exactly. It's all about shared experiences and creating those memories.
And it gives you something to look forward to plan together.
Absolutely. And that anticipation can be really exciting.
It's like building up that spark.
Now, beyond planning activities, the sources also talked about staying curious about your partner.
Okay, but how do you stay curious about someone you've known for years?
It's about shifting your perspective, approaching them with fresh eyes.
So, like seeing them for the first time again.
In a way, yes. Asking questions, really listening to their answers.
Because they're constantly evolving and growing.
Right. Exactly. They're not the same person they were 5 years ago.
And it's easy to forget that when you're caught up in the day-to-day routine.
Absolutely. So make an effort to really see them, to appreciate who they are now.
I like that.
And one small but powerful way to do that is to incorporate a daily check-in ritual.
Okay, like a dedicated time to connect.
Yeah, even just 5 minutes to sit down and share what's going on in your lives.
Not just a surface level. How's your day?
No, a real conversation where you listen and offer support.
It's like a mini date without having to go anywhere.
Exactly. And it creates that space for intimacy and connection.
Now, these sources also talked about the importance of community in relationships.
Right, because relationships don't exist in isolation.
Yeah, we're all part of a larger network.
And the sources emphasized involving your partner in your social life.
Introducing them to your friends and family.
Exactly. It's a way of saying, this person is important to me.
And vice versa, showing interest in your partner's social circle.
Absolutely, even if they're not your favorite people.
It shows that you care about the things that matter to your partner.
Exactly. And it creates a sense of respect and understanding.
Wow, this deep dive has been incredible.
It really has. We've covered so much ground.
From the foundations to the fun stuff and everything in between.
And it all boils down to this. Becoming a better partner is a journey.
It's not a destination.
Right. It's about continuous growth and effort.
It's about showing up every day and choosing to love and cherish your partner.
In both the big and small moments.
It's about those shared smiles, those inside jokes, those little acts of kindness that weave together an extraordinary relationship.
And never forget, even the smallest gestures can have a profound impact.
So keep those lines of communication open, stay curious about your partner, and never stop nurturing that spark.
Until next time, happy deep diving. And remember, the journey begins with a single step. What will yours be?